Let's stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice.
And roll call. You got all the names. I don't have it, sorry. Oh, okay. Alvin Riley is out of town, and I don't see that he's logged on, so he must be not here. Fraser McPhee's on line, and Mark Manley's online. I'm here. Jeff's here. Bert's here. Glenn Hillary is not here, and Mayor is not here yet, at least. And is that everyone? I think that's everyone. So we have a forum, I think. Okay, anyone's got to add for the agenda today? Could I get a motion to approve the agenda? So moved, seconded. And approval of the consent agenda for the. I don't think so. For the agenda. Oh, I guess you're right. We do, don't we? Okay, so all in favor of the day's agenda, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No one. Okay, so for approval of the consent agenda, 23rd January 25 minutes. Could I get a motion for approval of those? So moved. You can.
Yeah, I can't.
So moved. Oh, so moved. I'll second. And all approved, say aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed, so that passes. I'm the least experienced with doing this. Okay, so for the old business, the first item A is a report on communications, and I guess I will report first off that this may be a fairly short meeting just for everyone involved. But the report on communications with the FAA, DO, and DOT Aviation Division, Jeff's got, I know, at least one thing to report for the inspection.
Yeah, so as you all were signing on, you heard Fraser and I talking a little bit about an airport inspection and what that is. I just got a notification this morning from MDOT that we are going to have what's known as a 5010 inspection. That's simply the FAA comes in every couple of years. They do a full inspection of the airport for compliance. And the last one they did in 22, I believe, and I don't believe Scott's on with us. Scott's ill today, but I believe we're over 90%, maybe even as high as 98% complying with the findings from that 2022 inspection. So we don't really expect a lot of hits, but there are some issues out there that I'm sure that will get gigged on, and we will try to get those things fixed, mitigated as soon as possible. The one thing that I'm going to try to do, this affects our sponsorship change, and the fact that we have to do this all over again with the sponsorship change. So therefore, I'm going to see if we can get a waiver this year, and because it'd be to the benefit of the FAA. They won't have to spend money to come up here twice in a year to do the same inspection. So let's hope that that'll go through, and then we can put this inspection off until we actually do the sponsorship change, or in conjunction with. So that's what I have on that.
Okay, and no other communication then beside that?
Nothing more than just lots of invites to gatherings that the FAA and the New Mexico Aviation have. So we'll report on those as they come up, and then, if we can get to those meetings and have those conversations.
You're planning to go to Fort Worth?
Not planning on going to Fort Worth, but we have a New Mexico one that coincides with it, the 1st of March. So we will be going to that one.
The Saturday, but the 1st of March, is that a Saturday?
No, oh no, it's around the 1st of March.
Around
in the first.
Where's that?
It's in New Mexico Aviation in Santa Fe. It's a conference in Santa Fe, for airport managers and principals.
Okay, I'm looking forward to hearing from that. I guess we actually will have one more meeting before that. Okay, I'll include that in. Okay, anything else from anyone on item A?
Just to backtrack for a second, 98% compliance with a 50/10 is to be commended.
Yeah, Frazier, I don't know that it's that high. I've heard that thrown out by Scott a few times, but it's above 90 for sure.
Above 90% is to be commended.
That's great, good to hear.
Well, that falls on Scott's shoulders and those folks like Cy Trujillo who have been willing to put the effort in. So yeah, I agree with you 100%, Frazier.
Well, if that's really true, then that may smooth out our transition
Yes.
quite a bit. Wow, good. Okay, item B is the discussion of airport operations and the county communication meeting. I sent the committee an email that was my summary. And it talks about, and if you want to look it up, it's in that email for those of you that weren't there or didn't receive the email. Cy Trujillo, Todd Tatum, Mayor, Brett Weir, Rocky Lira, Jeff Gilmer, and Mike Provine, myself met a couple of weeks ago. I think the date on this is February 4th. So the outcome of that meeting I thought was excellent meeting and maximum cooperation from everybody involved. So I was really complimentary of that. Cy and Todd both welcomed Rocky to lead the grant projects, and there was a recommendation of a portal for sharing documents. And I think you've been working on that, you said?
Yes.
Okay. And then Cy recommended weekly meetings initially and then bi-weekly meetings to ensure rapid movement on the grant projects. Since then, we haven't had another meeting that I know of, and I don't know one being scheduled. So is that something we failed to do or I failed to do?
Unfortunately, everybody either got sick or was gone. That's why it hasn't been scheduled.
Okay.
Yeah. So just I'll comment on the second one. A portal got open. This was an agreement between the county and us. So we now have an information sharing portal between the two, where all documents in regards to the airport, all the county documents are going to be available for us to use, and vice versa. As we're building documentation here, that the county will get to use. The idea there is we are trying to sort all of this administrative stuff out and do the sponsorship. We got to be able to talk to each other and be able to see what each other see. So that was unanimous. The portal, I believe, was in play 2 days ago to be open. I haven't got a message yet that all the permissions have been granted. But as soon as I get that, then we'll let you all know and be able to work through that. And then again, like I said, with the meetings, it's simply because there's so many people been out that we haven't been able to schedule the second meeting.
And I offered this meeting, if you want to use it, because right now we don't have a whole lot on our agenda. It's up to you guys. The fuel tanks were inspected evidently by the Angel Fire Chief and declared they were too close to the building. I think I heard the numbers. Was it 50 feet or 35? 50 feet requirement. So there was some discussion about the grant that we have to build a shelter out there over that area.
Is that, it's 50 feet too close, or it has to be 50 feet?
It's it's 50 feet is the standard distance
From
the hangar
From
to,
the hangar to.
from the hangar. It is what they're calculating, you know. And it's non-compliant,
So it's like 45 feet?
like 45 feet, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really not too far enough, and so it was suggested, at least by me, to maybe build this fuel containment on the north side of those tanks and then be able to move the tanks further north on the other side of the fuel containment area to make that work out without having to do too much rebuilding.
Just as a thought, pardon if I may interrupt, sorry guys, but
Please do.
just an energy dissipation wall of some kind between the hangar and the fuel tanks be a potential option, because it's the reason for that distance is energy, of course, you know, if there is an explosion of some kind. So I just wonder if it'd be a lot cheaper to build an energy dissipation wall than it would be to move those fuel tanks.
Okay.
It's actually that was discussed, and also
Okay.
yeah, no, you're dead on. That was an excellent observation. The other one that was put up is literally taking down that old partition that's attached to the hangar where they used to park the cars, and unfortunately having to remove that because then we, you know, might be able to meet the requirement. We're going to talk in a minute about the inspection we had on Monday. So it all kind of rolls together, but yeah, no, I don't know who came up with that idea, but someone threw that out there. It may have been Mike Provine, that's a possibility.
Okay.
That'd be the easiest.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, the fourth thing was they talked about the master plan. And after reviewing a few things on our engineering contracts, I think we want to have input as a committee to that master plan. But I'm not sure we're the ones that's going to be actually in charge of it. I think that
It's
looks to
Rocky.
me like Rocky's going to be doing it in the airport layout. Okay. The four hangar plan, it was decided because of the short expiration date of the grant, and the grant can be extended. I think it was 30 June of 26. 30 June of 26 was the latest we could extend that. And I forgot to put that in the note. And because of that, we went ahead and decided that we should continue with the four hangar plan, but rotate it to a north-south orientation. And also not to put them so close to the current terminal, but to leave room between the terminal and the future large, so that there's a future large hangar that will fit between these four smaller hangars and the current terminal. So any questions or further discussion on that?
Fraser and others interested, the main push right now is to get hangar doors replaced. So that was, and again, everybody sat down. This actually was an approval, and I don't know if they have to go to committee because this is grant funds through Colfax County. That was got left decided to decide what they're going to do with that, but it was clear all parties involved want the hangar doors replaced as soon as possible this year. And those, it'll be a single building with four doors for the hangar design, which anybody would like to see it. It is available to look at. If you don't already have a copy, you're welcome to see it. The only change that was addressed and confirmed was that Lawrence said that from the plans that you'll see is that the doors of the hangars will be swung 90 degrees, so they will be facing east. However, part of that, I know there's issues with snow mitigation and things like that, but the idea is then another round of grant funding appropriations, we can continue to build those hangars. And so we'll add another 4, 6, or 8 and just continue a line heading south. So everybody was in agreement. And so that's where we're headed.
Yeah, it all sounds like wise magic to me. As a side note, generally the airports I've been involved with, airports are responsible to plow within 3 feet of the door, and the last 3 feet of the door the owner or renter of the hangar is responsible to clear the snow away. So, as far as those hangar doors opening the 90 degrees, and I'm familiar with the type, a 3 foot clearance, then the owner comes back, clears out the last 3 feet, and the doors can open.
Okay. Personally, I learned that building further north is more difficult because of the drop off that occurs there, and the level of the earth just drops off to a lower level, so it's difficult to go that direction, but I guess not impossible. And then I did mention the extension on the hangar. I think that, that's gonna be a tough goal, I think, to spend that money in that short a time, so got a lot of work to be done. We did discuss about getting that survey to,
Yeah.
Mike, did that happen?
Yes, it did. Well, interesting enough, part of the discussion in this meeting was we just had a survey done on the airport this last month. That was submitted, I believe, Thursday, Friday last week. We immediately sent that down to Molson Corbin. Unfortunately, it didn't meet their needs. However, Molson Corbin stepped up, dug through their records. Oh, and the reason why it was sent there was a topographical survey. Well, we found out that it wasn't. Molson Corbin stepped up. They went and dug through their records and found a usable topographical survey. So we don't have to do anything else. Molson Corbin's already in the engineering process now for the change. So that was really good news. Didn't have to spend any more money or take any more time.
Yeah, the time was what I was personally worried about. So that was most of that, all of that discussion that I remember. So any other discussion on item B? Nope. Next, item C is the status of the ownership transfer consultant contract. Brett Weir just had to leave because he wasn't feeling well, so he told me on the way out that he's hoping that gets signed today. There's still been some back and forth on the wording between the details on that contract, and he's hoping to get it done today. Can you confirm that, Julie?
I am not in that loop.
Oh, okay. So hopefully that's signed today, but maybe tomorrow at the latest. Very good.
Okay, and so, and again, I'm learning as I go, so I apologize how the small civil government works, but that only means that the contract signed still has to go before council. And so I had to put on the agenda Monday, considering that we would get it signed for a meeting on the 25th of this month, that contract will go to, if it's signed, go to council to be approved. So on the 26th, the rubber meets the road, and our consultant is already rocking it. So we're going to be moving pretty fast by the end of this month.
Very good. Good news. Okay. And then item D is a reminder that the airport engineering contract evaluation has already been due on Tuesday. Their committee of myself, Jeff, and Fraser have been looking over that, and we're going to be working on that after this meeting. So we're just still in the process of making that evaluation and to be complete.
If I can make a point, ask Julie a question. If this is solidified this afternoon, with who this committee, blesses, or whatever the word is, can that actually be thrown on the 25th as okay, so that'll be something we'll be pushing towards. I'll let Julie come up and talk about that.
Gentlemen, so I have the scores, I have your two scores, and right now it would be Molson Corbin is ahead in the tally. The committee would make, okay, this is who we want to go with. I would make a staff recommendation to council. The committee wants to push this company. This is who they recommend. The council will vote on it, and then we'd go into negotiations with that company, and then they would be your airport engineer.
So probably not the 25th. But
No, it'd be the twenty-fifth. If you guys decide today, I'm putting it on the agenda for the twenty-fifth.
Okay, right on.
I think
Yeah.
we should be able to decide today myself.
Yeah,
Okay,
there is a meeting on the eighteenth, but that agenda is
Yeah, it's already
completed,
set.
so it'd be the twenty-fifth.
okay.
Great. Thank you.
So Julie, do you need a motion from us to make a recommendation then?
If you guys, if the committee is decided on a recommendation, yes, I would need a motion as to who the committee wants to recommend, and then I would make a staff recommendation to council.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I was wanting to ask some more questions and discuss this before we,
Well, that's fine, you can. I mean, you can do that now. Or you can do it after the meeting, but it's on the agenda, so you can do that now.
Guys,
you
if
already
you want to,
I have scores, I do have scores from Fraser and Lawrence, and right now it's Molson Corbin.
So I'm a little confused. Will you have the scores yet? We're gonna have the
You have the
discussion.
scores, and if you just went by the scores, then that's who you'd recommend. If there is
Okay.
any other deciding factor, you would discuss it and bring it up. If you think, yeah, these guys are really, really good, I wanna go with them, and you're just gonna discuss it. So it's like, okay, yeah, I'm good with this score. Let's go ahead and make that recommendation.
well, I'd like to discuss it more between the three of us before we vote, and so can we do a vote offline in between?
It should be in the meeting. It should be open meetings because it's open to the public.
Oh, okay. I don't know what
So
your
you have my scores, and are you tallying
I
the totals of the three scores to come up with a
didn't,
lead horse there?
I didn't tally yours.
Okay, but well, and you probably don't have theirs here, so,
Well, I have theirs. I have theirs, Lawrence's and
okay,
Fraser's.
you have them
scores.
with you. Well, you can look at my scores, so. So where I'm at, I'm just gonna throw my 2 cents in, is I read through both prospectus, and submissions. I am unabashedly saying Du Bois King, based on their level, not only of experience, but also their depth of, knowledge and infrastructure with folks from Washington DC to, state aviation and everybody else. The names of the players in New Mexico State and feds are kind of the same. You see them in both perspectives. I just felt that the reason why I was for Du Bois is that they can extend it out a lot farther and have a lot more experience. And frankly, I think based on touting, if you're just essentially looking at the end result, I would like to see a change and maybe go with somebody who can show results and show them in a timely manner. That was really the bottom line, based on current experience. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Well, the question I want to ask you is, since Molson Corbin is still employed by the county, and as we found out in the last meeting, they are working hard to finish a bunch of work. How will this transition if we pick somebody else? What will they be doing in the next year, if anything? Since Molson Corbin's already being paid to finish all those grants.
Their primary, and that's in the prospectus. I'm sorry, I'm probably not using the right term there. They're in their submission. Their primary is going to be helping us with grant funding from the future out.
So you're thinking you're gonna have Molson Corbin, if you chose Du Bois King, you'd be having Molson Corbin working until the transition. And then they aren't hired anymore, so now Du Bois King's got to take over whatever's not finished. Is that
And
true? Or
continue forward with till such time as we have to renegotiate this and moving us forward with.
It's the transition that sounds a bit messy.
Absolutely. And that's why I
If
felt like
we
they
do
were the better ones to help us in that transition. Obviously, we hired them as a consultant to help with that transition, so. Yeah, it's just an opinion.
Did you have anything to add, Fraser?
That's right. Gentlemen, Molson Corbin is still in the lead as far as scores. One thing to take note, if you do go with a different engineer, they're not gonna take Molson Corbin's engineering, they will re-engineer. Because very seldom does one engineer take stuff from another engineer, because they'll just re-verify and re-engineer from their own numbers.
I guess it sounds almost better to me, and I know this sounds crazy, if we were gonna decide to change, it was to do this change in a year from now, not now.
So that's an interesting point you brought up. Fraser, you might want to talk to this. What's the length of this contract?
We have 4 years with one renewing every year.
Right now, this
That's
one
total
says
4
renew
years.
every
We can't
year.
go past 4 years.
But where we would have Molson Corbin for 4 more years before we could even renegotiate.
Renewing each year.
Renewing each year.
So a maximum of 4 years. Any professional service contract is only for 4 years.
What kind of penalties would there be if you don't renew after a year? Is in the
None.
contracts, is it come up with
There's no count. It's the contract's for a year, but you can renew up to 4 years.
up to 4 years? Okay.
'Cause that's
I mean, I just
the
don't
most you
know.
get For professional
Okay,
service.
I just don't know the wording of it exactly, because if it can come back. Anyhow, sounds like
It's
decision.
in the contract that the village can cancel at any time,
Okay,
you know, whatever benefits the village the most.
yes, that's kind of what I'm looking for in the long run is.
Fraser, do you have any comments to add, why you voted? Why you voted?
I was very impressed with Dubois and King's proposal. I think they are probably going to be a big asset to us, especially with regard to this transition. Molson Corbin has been the engineer of record for the airport for quite some time. They're quite familiar with it. They've got a lot of the designs in place. I'd like to think that Dubois and King, with regard to the airport transition, is going to be as good an asset as we can find. And I kind of looked at it as from a familiarization standpoint, and also that this first transition project is going to be somewhat of a trial to get used to dealing with Dubois and King. And if they so prove to be the exceptional contractor that I think they probably will, that they would be under consideration at the 1 year period of the engineering contract that I scored Molson Corbin higher for, at least for this first year in the 4 year contract. So that was my thought process, guys.
I think you worded that very well. That's sort of the way I came to the same conclusion. That gives us a year to find out more about Dubois and King, and that build a relationship with them, find out, when they're responsive. I didn't find any schedule slash building cost. I thought Molson Corbin had a really good section on that, and they had been, at least the examples they gave, had performed, but Dubois and King didn't have anything in there about it. That bothered me some. And then I'm just still a little bit concerned that they're so far away, how much it's gonna cost us to bring people in. I don't know that, they say they have people in Las Cruces, but even Las Cruces is 6 hours away. And I don't see anybody that was on that list that actually lives in Las Cruces. So that was another one of my concerns, and I think we'll find out more about what that's gonna cost us just for travel expenses for them to come and visit us on a regular basis. I noticed they didn't even mention about attending our council meetings or anything. Of course, they can do that with Zoom, but they didn't even discuss it. So that was some of my reasons I went with Moles and Corbin, but I do think a year from now we'll be a lot better prepared to do a transition and think about how that transition is going to occur. Because like, if we have to start over with a new company, redesigning things, that's not good. I don't think that'll be a positive thing for the transition of ownership right away. So that's my thinking about it.
Sounds like there's a consensus, so
I just need a recommendation, a motion and a second to proceed.
Well, can I get a motion and a second to proceed with the Moles and Corbin contract?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to recommend the Moles and Corbin as the engineer of record for the airport.
yeah, I second it.
Yeah, okay, I got them.
I can on this one.
Committee to vote on it, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll second it.
You'll second it? Okay, Bert second.
That's true.
Did we get a roll call vote for those that are in attendance? I vote for Moles and Corbin. Fraser,
Fraser.
okay,
First, same, almost covered.
and Bert says Moles and Corbin. Mark, you have any?
I do not, and I would abstain on this vote.
Okay. So we have 3 and 1 abstain. So I think that passes out of 5. Alvin being the one that's not here today. So you have the approval then for Moles and Corbin, Julie?
Yes, sir, I'll make a staff recommendation to council for the meeting on the 25th.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other questions? If no other questions,
Oh, just one thing, I will need your, the proposals returned to me
yes.
so that I can.
Very good.
Julie, if you're okay, I'll return the proposals to you when I've disinfected them and feel a little better.
Okay.
Want that too? Okay, that concludes the meeting. Thank you very much. Oh, I forgot. Man, I'm having a bad day. I thought I discussed the master plan participation, but I think after reading these proposals, we really need to have that meeting with the engineer. And I think at some point we want to find out. I haven't seen a master plan. Is there one?
it's ancient.
How old is it?
The airport
I
master
have-
plans.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I have no idea, guys. Sorry.
So the master plan, CIP is all FAA regulated, and that's part of that portal that we're opening up, so we can go dig through all the records at the county and find those. We did it with CIP 2 years ago. That did go to the FAA. So we at least know what that is, but as far as the master plan, no, that's in county records somewhere.
Reading those proposals, we need to make sure Mike Provine knows that's on his duty list to work on that. And I think, personally, I think the committee needs to be heavily involved, not heavily involved, aware of what's going on with that.
Agreed.
I don't know if that's an approval or what the relationship will be. But
No, I think the relationship there is one we discussed in the last meeting, where the reason why we changed the whole mission of this committee is so that you are involved in this. And so absolutely, we'll get everybody in the committee a copy of the master plan as soon as we can find it, and then start to develop our own. I think, Fraser's got a wealth of ideas that he had in the back, and so we're gonna get all that out of there. Some of the master plan will overlap in the CIP. So, but hey, let's get the wish list. But they will be part of the package. Again, we're gonna have to do this master plan for the sponsorship packages to the FAA. So, we're gonna be working on to get this done this year.
well, we did have that, in the planning, comprehensive planning stuff that I send off to the lady that does that. We had some of those lists and that's in there, but I think after having the meeting with the county, I found that there's more to it. Where are we gonna plan the future for parking lots and more hangars and so forth that needs to be added to all that. Okay. And next meeting will be the 27th, which is 2 weeks from today. Any other comments? Okay, meeting adjourned.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, sir.